What is up? What is good, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. My name is Jake. All of today's CSGO stories, as per usual, will be timestamped down below if you guys want to jump around to a few of our stories. The first of which going to be Blast Pro, which, by the way, these results have continued to really mess with my mind. If you guys have been watching CSGO over the past 2 weekends, we had Star Series last weekend. Liquid and Astralis were both not there. We proved that Evil Geniuses is likely our top team in the world when those other 2 top teams are not present. Besides that, though, behind EG, when Liquid and Astralis are not there, there is a whirlwind of teams out there trying to come up, and you know, you got the FaZe Clan, you got NIP, you got Fnatic, all trying to compete for those top 5 spots, and it really is a whirlwind besides our top 3 teams right now. When I show you guys, though, this past weekend, Blast Pro Series went to Copenhagen, and if I show you these teams on screen, you know who the favorites are, clear and far away favorites. It's Liquid and Astralis. We did not see them last weekend at Star Series. They are now here, apparently, though, still experiencing some type of issues, whether jet lag, whether tiresome, I don't know what it was, but they just looked very off this past weekend. Both Stewie and Device have taken to Twitter to try and explain what happened, or exactly, of course, this was not their best event we have seen them at, and I always take Blast Pro events with a grain of salt. I've never really given it too much conviction. I've never said, oh my gosh, if you win Blast Pro, you are on the rise. If you lose Blast Pro, you're on the downfall, especially when we go back to the default best of 1 format. Take everything with a grain of salt. That does not take away the fact is this, though, following Star Series and now at Blast Pro, we have seen results that just don't make sense. Besides Cloud9, who, by the way, no one is denying looked god-awful at this event, besides them, Astralis and Liquid, they looked equally terrible and equally not themselves at the event itself. And actually, NIP following up some pretty decent results on back-to-back weekends for a pretty new roster themselves. They're definitely on top of my books alongside Fnatic for uprising teams out there. You get rid of Get Right, and all of a sudden you change a couple members, and you got a young gun like Plopsky. NIP have seemingly made some pretty solid changes. NaVi's back in the mix as well, but again, with best of 1 format, you cannot take too much away from that. More so, first off, let's focus on Cloud9. They looked atrocious. You look at the lowest rated players across the entire event. You know who's there? Not just 1, 2, 3. The entire Cloud9 lineup falls in the lowest rated players of the entire event. You don't want to see that. You really don't. And especially because I talked about them last month. I mentioned to all of you guys I had one single source that I do trust say that apparently Mixwell might be thinking about going back to Movistar Riders for a second time, depending upon their results over at Movistar. He shut down those rumors. Let's get that clear, guys. Mixwell has now stated, he tweeted back and said, no, he's going to stick it out with the Cloud9 project, and that's good because they need him right now, arguably their best member. They are looking continuously very rough. Yes, there's still a brand new roster or a newer roster out there, and yes, it's a best of 1 format. They do tie NaVi. They nearly take down FaZe as well, who win the event. I'm not going to take this result at too much to fruition, but it does not look good to see them all 5 players in the lowest rated of the entire event. Of course, followed up by Liquid, then Astralis as well in the final ratings. You know, again, not going to take too much away from it. Eventually, it's actually FaZe Clan versus NIP in the grand final. I would say a relatively pretty close best of 3 series, although it ends 2-0. One map goes to overtime. I believe 16-12 for the second map as well. FaZe Clan, I think more importantly, still NIP, credit where credit is due, an uprising team. They have seemingly made the changes they have needed to make, and so far in the back-to-back results, they're looking like a decent and a much better NIP roster than they were about a month ago. Now, with that, though, FaZe Clan win their first title since April. Hallelujah. FaZe Clan, they might be back. For the first time in a long time, them spending money on guys like Broky and Coldzera might have finally paid off. It was actually nice to see a FaZe Clan, despite the best of ones, actually look like a pretty solid roster here, and I cannot wait to see if this is the motivation they need to actually turn around and produce more results like this. You know, it also, alongside the fact that Olaf Meister now takes the #1 spot for the most trophies, the most championship trophies in CSGO history, now at 25. I believe Exist is in second place with 24. Another NIP duo, or at least current or former members, that's going to be Get Right and Forest, both at 23 in third and fourth place. Olaf Meister proves himself yet again to be the most winningest CSGO pro player of all time. He is now back with that, another trophy to raise for himself. Either way, despite this long explanation for all of you guys, I'm not going to take too much away from it, but no one can argue these past 2 weekends have been a real whirlwind of results. I cannot wait for our next big event to really prove who is consistent here in CSGO, because as of right now, as per usual, we are in a weird time where there are so many teams so close to each other. Either way, though, FaZe Clan take Blast Pro Copenhagen, a much-deserved title. We will see, though, if they can keep it up. And in our second story today, we actually talk about s1mple, who is now re-signed with NaVi. Not as sincere what we seem, thanks to Decay as well, brought to us by his double tap report. I will link it down below for all of you guys. It seems that s1mple has now re-signed with NaVi till nearing the end of 2020. Much to the disappointment of many people out there, but I don't think he was going to really set to change anywhere anytime soon. But with these results, it does beg the question, if these results do continue, will s1mple by the end of 2020 consider a new lineup? It does, though, also state that yes, he has faith in this roster for at least another year, and can they go somewhere with this roster is the giant overarching question that has never really been answered ever since s1mple has joined. Can they take with force and actually consistently stay in a top 5 spot and actually get those consistent results that this lineup really should be having? We've obviously talked a lot about s1mple and NaVi over the past week or so, given their story with the referee from Star Series, and now till here, the temperament issues or whatever issues are on NaVi. We're not really seeing a clear picture into those issues right now. Boomich, by the way, is IGLing the roster. s1mple is going to stay till the end of 2020. Who else has signed? Even Decay does not know, and who knows how much they are now paying him to stay on this roster. The best player in the world has re-signed to NaVi. We will see where he can take them. And very lastly, for all of you guys, speaking of high price buyouts out there, it's actually Nell who's actually kind of re-brought up the speculative price of what 100 Thieves might have paid for the Renegades roster. Hopefully gonna be the last time I do talk about this transaction, as I've actually brought it up probably a bit too much over the past week or so. But apparently, according to Nell, it of course was EG buying that NRG roster for around $3 million. The speculative price, unless the Renegades contracts did expire before that, the speculative buyout price for that roster was $2.2 million. Hopefully sometime out there, Nell or Decay or some insider can find out what exactly 100 Thieves did pay for the roster. Can you imagine if we found out that 100 Thieves stole, ironically enough, the Renegades roster for an insanely cheap price, if not for free? If that's the case, who knows what their bonuses or what their salaries might be if 100 Thieves got them for for no cost whatsoever. I imagine the players are getting paid handsomely no matter what. But with that being said, I do have a video coming sometime soon for all of you. If you guys do want to help out, I think it's going to be released probably sometime later this week. I do want to talk about some of the highest buyouts in CS history. Obviously, Evil Geniuses now ranks, I believe, the #1 spot at $3 million for a solo transaction, obviously for the entire roster. If 100 Thieves did pay $2.2 million, that would be right up there below them. We're going to find out, hopefully in the future, what they did pay for them, because, of course, Decay did report those contracts could have been expired, and that does mean 100 Thieves could have gotten a steal, could have gotten a literal steal for a lineup, by the way, who will be going to majors, who is in leagues, and who is a top 10 team, and that would be one of the best purchases they could have ever made. Until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy breaking down esports gaming news here all day long. So many stories. If I did miss one, feel free to drop a comment down below. I will cover it as soon as possible. Until next time, thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.